Okay, moving on to the last and final segment of today's show. It is time to go over our picks for the NFL divisional round. And without further ado, we'll get some music in here. Let's do it. We'll start off with the game Saturday, 4:25. We have the Los Angeles Rams, the number 6 seed in the NFC, who are coming off a fresh win against the Seattle Seahawks. They will be heading to the frozen tundra, known as Lambeau Field, to take on the number 1 seed Packers. Andrew, I'll give you the floor.
I'm going to take the Packers. It's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game than everyone thinks. I mean, you look at the Rams' number 1 defense. They have Jalen Ramsey. You can lock down Davante Adams. He locked down DK Metcalf last week and held him really good on against man coverage. So I have the Packers winning. It's going to be a tight game. If Jared Goff can make a few throws, if this offense can be a little explosive, then I think that the Rams can pull this one out. But I just think that the Packers have too much talent on the offense. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, playing at an MVP level. I just think that the Packers are going to win this game and go to the Super Bowl. But, I have the Packers in this game, but it's going to be interesting. Big matchup, Adams versus Ramsey, and then you see Aaron Donald. Can he wreck the game on the inside? If they could do that, Rams can pull this one out, but I'm going to take the Packers.
Dude,
how about you, Zach?
Before I make a pick for this game, man, bro, I don't know if you watched that Seahawk-Ram game on Saturday, but, Troy Aikman called Aaron Donald the best defensive player he's ever seen. And this is a guy that played against Lawrence Taylor. This is a guy that played against Charles Haley and Reggie White and some of the absolute legends in this league. And Aaron Donald, I feel like as football fans, we all know how good he is in terms of he's clearly the best defensive player in the league. But he is an all-time great, man. That dude is an absolute stud, and his ability to wreck the game is phenomenal. It's super impressive, and I do think, man, it's unfortunate because I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game, but I'll say this, man. I think the Rams defense could really hold their own. I agree 100% in the fact that when you look at this Green Bay Packers team, dude, they could be very reliant on Davante Adams. And it's super unfortunate because at the same time, it's almost like when you look at this whole team, as we were talking about it before we started it off the show, if they drafted Jordan Love, and maybe that's a reason why Aaron Rodgers is so good, but at the same time, when you look at this whole situation, the Green Bay Packers don't necessarily have any other weapons that could scare you, and I agree. Jalen Ramsey showed us last week he has the ability to shut down DK Metcalf, a very physical and big-time receiver. Now, Davante is a little bit more, advanced in terms of his route running. He's got a little more options, but at the same time, dude, when you look at this Packer team, I think the Rams could contain them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and also one thing is the key addition of Leonard Floyd this season for the Rams. I think that's phenomenal. That's exactly what the Aaron Donald needs, an edge rusher that could take off double teams and, make it a dual threat. And I think that's why we see Aaron Donald again at a higher level. This guy could wreck any team. He could wreck Aaron Rodgers' day on this Sunday or this Saturday. So, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won. They have the formula to win against any team, honestly. It's just seeing how their quarterback can play. Can Jared Goff play with his hand injury? If not, I have no chance for the Packers. But, it was impressive against beating the Seahawks team that had a really explosive offense earlier on the season and a good defense, and they were still able to pick them apart and put up almost past 30 against them. So, this is going to be a game where either team, it's the big plays, but I think the edge goes to the quarterback and the Packers. But again, the Rams have something that a lot of teams don't have, a shutdown corner that could truly shut down anyone. You could put him on an island. So you know what? I want to see Davante Adams, Ramsey. That's going to be a really big matchup because, like we just said, if Davante can't really get that separation, those big plays, who do the Packers have? They have a run game, which is good, but, again, you have Aaron Donald in the middle. It's going to be hard. But, so it's going to be – this is a really bad matchup for the Packers. That's going to make it a little harder for them to win. But, I still believe in Aaron Rodgers over, Jared Goff.
Exactly, dude. And here's my problem with this game, man. As confident as I am in the Rams defense, and I agree with you, man, I think they're a phenomenal unit. When we were talking about the head coaching candidates, one candidate we didn't mention that I think has been phenomenal, I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching job this year, but I think in the future he definitely will be a head coach. That's Brandon Staley, the Rams defensive coordinator. Sean McVay was under a lot of turmoil when he decided to let go of Wade Phillips. as his defensive coordinator. Wade is a guy who won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He's obviously a very well-known coach. And McVay brings in this dude, Brandon Staley, from Vic Fangio's coaching staff in Denver, and he has really done a good job with that defense. That corner, Williams, who had the pick 6 last week, he's phenomenal. Obviously, Donald, Ramsey, their linebackers are good. I think when you look at this Rams team, it's just unfortunate their quarterback has a broken thumb, and even if he was healthy, I don't necessarily know if he'd be able to go into Lambeau Field in the cold and win. I remember a couple of years ago, the Rams had a Sunday night football game against Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears in Chicago, and it was freezing. It was like 5 degrees, and Jared Goff, kid from California, played at Cal Berkeley, obviously the quarterback of the LA Rams. I think you could clearly tell that he was just a little bit flustered from the cold weather, and that's 2 years ago. Obviously, times change. But at the same time, I look at this Packer offense, and as good as the Rams defense is, I cannot see the Packers offense scoring less than 17 points in this game. I think in order for the Rams defense to have a great day, they'll hold Green Bay to like 17, and I don't even know if Jared Goff could lead the offense to over that amount, because let's keep in mind, last week against Russell Wilson, the Rams defense had a pick 6. I don't think that's happening against Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think it is, but it's going to have to happen for the Rams to win. Their defense is going to have to put up points somehow. They're going to have to get a big stop, turnovers. Rams' key to win this game, turnover battle. They're going to have to win the turnover battle. Jared Goff has to be more than a game manager. He can't sit back in that role. He needs to make these. He needs to be able to make those deep throws, convert on the 3rd and longs, because that's what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. So you're going to have to play up to his level. And again, I don't think Jared Goff's going to have an easy day, because that Packers defense is slept on. They have 2 really good guys in Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, and Clark in the middle. So they have a Jair Alexander, a lot of good names there. So Jared Goff is gonna have to have a big game, but I'm just not gonna bet on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, dude. So we both have the Packers. Moving on to the next game. Let's get to Saturday night. This, in my opinion, dude, is the most exciting game of the week. The Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, 2 of the hottest teams in football. And dude, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna pick the Ravens to win this game. As much as I love Buffalo, and they're great, they've been playing phenomenal football, I think they have 2 weaknesses that could really get exposed in this game. Number 1, it's their rush defense, man. They're 22nd in the league against the run, and we saw Jonathan Taylor gash them pretty good last week. We've seen some other running backs so far this season have some really nice performances against Buffalo, and we know what the Ravens do. They're not one of these smoke and mirror teams that try to run fake plays. When you're facing the Ravens, you know exactly what they're doing. They're running the ball down your throat, and the crazy thing is, they don't even care. Their offensive line, since Ronnie Stanley's gotten hurt, has really... as of late, they've been really forming some good chemistry. They've been playing very well, and I just love the Ravens' ability to run the ball in this game. As good as Josh Allen is, he is prone to make a mistake, as we know, and I think Buffalo's inability to run the ball via their running backs could cost them in this game, because Zach Moss is hurt, and it's not like when he was active, he was that productive. Singletary hasn't been great, and Buffalo relies on Josh Allen for their running game. I think we saw that last week. I think that it's very easy to assume that if Josh Allen wasn't the Bills quarterback last week against the Colts, they easily lose that game, because Indianapolis outplayed them. Josh Allen just made the big plays when he had to most, and I think when you look at the other sideline, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback that is capable of matching him big play for big play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to choose any good team here. I think all the trends are going for the Ravens to win, just considering, last week as well. Josh Allen he played really well, but, they could have lost that game easily to the Colts with a few bad plays. But I'm going to take the Bills, honestly, because I think that McDermott can drop a really good game plan against his defense against the Ravens, and you have a guy in Stephon Diggs who is a top 5 wide receiver right now. I don't think he can match anyone in the Ravens can really match up with this guy. And look, if the Ravens can also do this run play based off their quarterback, I think Josh Allen has the ability to get a few big runs on the power game, and they can incorporate that zone reads and all that thing. Yeah, I think that the Bills at home is also a big advantage because, you know, you got the Bills Mafia there, and it's in the cold.
It may snow, yeah.
It may snow, which is a worse. Which is
he said he's never played in the snow.
He's never played in the snow, and he hasn't been used to the cold. So, you know, I think that the Bills can pull this one out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens won, but, you know, that Bills defense has a lot of playmakers. You know, you could really, you know, we talked about this earlier. You could add a guy in the box because Tre'Davious White can lock up anyone all in the outside that the Ravens have. And, you know, the Ravens don't really have that big playmaker besides, you know, Marquise Brown. And he's not even that, you know, big of a... No, he's not even a number one.
The Ravens' passing game doesn't scare you.
It doesn't scare me. What does scare me is, you know, that run... That run
Dude,
offense.
I'm telling you, man,
that is nasty.
Watching that game against the Titans last week, the Titans were up 10-0. And it was 10-3 at the time, but Lamar had a big run. And after that, the Titans were just flustered. It was 10-3. Lamar had a 48-yard run for a touchdown. And it's crazy because early in that game, like, Lamar threw a terrible pick. He still has those incapabilities as a passer. But I think in this situation, against a very vulnerable Bills rushing defense, I think we could see Lamar just go off and really remind everyone how special of a player he could be. Before the playoffs, I picked the Ravens to come out of the AFC. I'm not going against it. I can't wait for this game, man.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. And I just, you know, one more thing about the Ravens is, yeah, they can really frustrate teams, even the best team. But one thing I gotta say is the Titans' defense, I think they're way worse than the Bills. I think that they don't have edge rushers. I mean, you know...
But at the same time, dude, like, here's my counter to that.
Okay.
I think that when you looked at all of the weaknesses that Tennessee's defense had, it was in the pass game. Like, yes, I get it. They couldn't bring a pass rush, but at the same time, they had a full week to game plan for Lamar, bro. They knew that he was going to be running the ball right down their throat, and they still couldn't stop it. The weakness of the Ravens defense the Titans defense, was not getting a pass rush and their secondary. Like, wide receivers would just be burning them each and every week. So I think when you look at Baltimore and the fact that Buffalo, you're right, from a name perspective, they have better names, but I have not seen anything from Buffalo recently that could tell me they could stop the run.
Yeah, we'll see. And it's going to be, you know, that's the key for Buffalo, stop the run, but one more thing I gotta say is Josh Allen, man. I mean, this guy could put up points in a hurry. The Titans' offense, I feel like, was just stagnant because Derrick Henry couldn't get it going. Josh Allen could put up 30 any night against any team. So I want to see, you know, how Baltimore can go against a high-powered offense like the Bills. And I just think that Josh Allen is gonna, you know, he's gonna be able to have these big plays and frustrate also the Ravens defense. And I think that it's gonna put, you know, it's not the same 10-0 compared to if you're against the Titans, who rely on the ground game a lot. So I think that the Bills can really just run away with this if they can make a few stops early on. So that's why I have the Bills, man. It's a close one, but I see them possibly blowing this game wide open, honestly.
Wow, I can't wait. It's going to be good. But moving on to the next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, we have the number 6 seed Cleveland Browns coming off their first playoff win in 18 years against the Steelers. They will be heading to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And I assume we're both going to pick the Chiefs in this game. But I'm going to say this, dude. I think Cleveland's going to keep it close, man. I really do. The line right now is Kansas City minus 10. I think that's super disrespectful to Cleveland. I haven't seen anything from Kansas City as of late that would suggest that they could blow anyone out right now. And I will repeat what I said earlier in the show, dude. As great as Patrick Mahomes is making individual plays, and he has the ability to make plays that no other quarterback in this league could make, that doesn't necessarily mean that Kansas City, as of late, has been just, crushing teams and blowing teams out. And I think Cleveland, they played awesome last week, dude, without a head coach and without a week of practice. That shows me that the culture Kevin Stefanski has built with this team has been phenomenal. And the fact that they could go a full week of practice, or a full week without practicing, and a full playoff game without their head coach or their offensive line coach, and still win on the road in the playoffs, that's super impressive, man. And as great of a head coach as Andy Reid is, the fact that Stefanski is back, he would get my vote for Coach of the Year. I like the way Baker Mayfield's been playing. I don't think Kansas City's defense is special. It's good. But if Baker could do what he did last week against Pittsburgh, I don't see a reason why he can't do what he did again against Kansas City.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one just because, they're the Chiefs. But yeah, this is highly winnable by the Browns. I mean, they have a top elite offensive line all around. You got Wyatt Teller, you got Joel Bitonio coming back, hopefully, from COVID. And then you get Denzel Ward back, which is, a guy that can match up with Tyreek Hill a little better than a lot of other guys on our teams. So, I mean, this Browns team has a formula. It's ground and pound, play action, and play steady defense. Myles Garrett's a game wrecker on the other side of the football, and he could really give Pat Mahomes a lot of issues. I mean, the Chiefs have a good offensive line, but who can compare to Myles Garrett, match up with him one-on-one? I don't know.
He's a freak.
Yeah, and you got Sheldon Richardson, who's also playing pretty good. And, the Browns have this formula. It's like I said before, they need to convert these field goals into touchdowns, and they're going to have to be bend but don't break against the Chiefs. And that is highly possible. I mean, you saw the Falcons put up a little... Give Kansas City some issues until a crazy play.
A missed field goal, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just...
Falcons should have won that game, dude.
They should have, and it just shows how the Chiefs can be exposed. It's just, I think Andy Reid in the playoffs, they turn the Jets on because I feel like, Kansas City during the regular season is on a little bit of autopilot because they know they're going to get to the playoffs. And I think that the Chiefs Andy Reid's a great playmaker, and I think they're going to get in full gear now, and they're ready, they're well rested. And I have the Chiefs winning because I think that they just have too many problems on the offense for the Browns to really contain. And I don't think they're going to contain, Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So I just have the Chiefs winning. Plus, home field advantage doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, with fans, it will be interesting to see how this ends up. But, dude, moving on to the last and final game of divisional weekend, let's go to the NFC South, the third battle between Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. And, dude, it's crazy because these two teams, this is now going to be the third time we've watched them play, and it's looked pretty apparent to me that when the Buccaneers and Saints play, the Buccaneers don't match up very well with them at all. And it's crazy because it's hard to just say that when you're betting against Tom Brady in a game, but I'm going to pick the Saints to win. I'm not confident at all. And Andrew, man, you and I have had this conversation a lot, really since the offseason, that we both believed that Drew Brees was not capable right now to win a Super Bowl. And I still believe that. And I think Tampa Bay, from a quarterback perspective, has the advantage in that game. I think Brady's going to have a great game. But I do think the Saints' defense is really good, and I think it's underrated. I understand it's easy for a lot of people to watch last week's game against the Bears and just say Mitchell Trubisky sucks. That's why the Saints won. But the Saints' defense is phenomenal, man. Cam Jordan, Hendrickson is questionable to play. Hopefully he gets in there. Anzalone's a good linebacker. We know Demario Davis. Marshawn Lattimore has shut down Mike Evans throughout his career. Evans always gets frustrated. And as good as this Tampa Bay offense has been, I don't know. I just think the Saints' defense makes a play. I think the Saints have a coaching edge here. I'm going to take New Orleans.
I'm going to actually take the Bucs in this one because what I just saw last week kind of really increased the stock for the Bucs. Because Washington is no scrub at defense. They have a really good defensive line, and I was surprised that Brady was able to, dot up that defense as good as they did last week. And the one thing I have to say is, the New Orleans might have a better defense, but there's just so many weapons. Sure, you can lock up Mike Evans, but then you got Antonio Brown, you got Chris Godwin, you got Gronkowski, you got O.J. Howard if he's playing.
Braid,
Cameron Brate. And a decent offensive line with Leonard Fournette and LaShawn McCoy.
Fournette looked good last week.
Yeah, and if they can run that ball, I think the Bucs are really unstoppable. I think they could beat any team because Tom Brady with that play-action game, with all the weapons. Last year you saw Brady struggle. He had no weapons. Now you got three great wide receivers. Godwin is so slept on in the slot. I think that they're a team that could just really cause havoc on offense. And at the same time, their defense is
before you get into their defense, let me say this, dude. Antonio Brown. He's been looking good. Another touchdown last week. That chemistry between him and Tom Brady, it's looking good. Very good. It is.
And, those are three number one receivers possibly on any other team. So that's something that's just remarkable. And, he had that jet sweep play that was pretty good. And we just forget. I just got to remind everyone about the Bucs defense. I mean, they have a lot of guys on that defense that are really good against the run. So Alvin Kamara might have a tough game. And you got Devin White, who can really match up well against Kamara in the passing game. He's an athletic, middle linebacker who can, make a lot of good plays. And, Kamara might be a little neutralized there. We'll see Michael Thomas, how that works out. But I think the Bucs defense can really also hold the Saints a good amount. and this might come down to who has the better offense. And I take the Bucks. I do take the Bucks either way, honestly, man.
Yeah, so, dude, I can't wait for this game. It's gonna be. I think that's the battle it's gonna come down to. Tampa Bay's offense against New Orleans defense. Whoever wants to make a play late, I think that's who's gonna win the game. It's good to go up against each other in the two big games, man. Baltimore and Buffalo, Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I'm excited.
Yeah, and we finally get the matchup: Breeze versus Brady in the playoffs. I'm really excited.
Not to mention Josh Allen versus Lamar, dude.
Yeah. Great quarterbacks right now. One last thing I gotta say is, I know we bring up, the past, how the Saints really dominated last game against the Bucks, but just remember, this is a completely different team with the Bucks. They switched their system on the offensive side to more play action, more short passes.
And it definitely did take Brady some more time to get used to, first year in Tampa Bay. They played week 1, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and this is basically Brady's year 2, because he went through a whole season of the, Arians offense. So this is Brady's year 2, basically, in Tampa under this offensive scheme. So he's more comfortable, and I just got to bet on Brady, man. He's the talent. Man. He's a goat, and I just think he's going to outplay Breeze, really, man.
Dude, it's going to be interesting, dude, because I think another big key to this game is going to be the play of Tampa Bay's offensive line, because I understand Chase Young is a monster, but New Orleans defense just has that sense of professionalism. They have that sense of a defense that has been there before. And, dude, let's not forget, I totally understand Tom Brady. He's the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we all know all the great things he's done. But, dude, if the Saints lose this game, I think Drew Brees is going to retire. This is it for him. This is the last ride. And the way not only the last 2 playoffs, but the last 3 playoffs, the way all those have ended for the Saints, this is it. And if they lose a home playoff game for the 3rd year in a row, their fans aren't going to be happy. Yeah, I think
and also, Taysom Hill has that big contract, so they're going to have to, maybe incorporate him. So yeah, this is really Breeze's last chance. This is his career game, honestly. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I think he's really done. Because if he can't prove that he can win in the playoffs again for the 3rd year in a row at home, then what is this his ceiling now?
Yeah.
Because their defense is elite, like we just said.
Their running game's elite.
Their running game's elite.
Michael Thomas is elite.
Yeah. And I mean, they have Randall Cobb on the other side.
Dude, that's another thing I'll say is having Michael Thomas back, man. Like that, the Saints last week had Kamara and Thomas in the lineup, and it was the first time in weeks, I believe since week 3, that both of those guys played. Huge to have both those guys back. Andrew, just wanted to say once again, thank you for joining me on today's show. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to watching the games this weekend.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited for some good games.